In an ancient forest where sunlight wove golden threads through a canopy of emerald leaves, life pulsed with vibrant energy. The air hummed with the chatter of creatures, from the soft rustle of squirrels to the melodic trills of birds perched high in towering oaks. Wildflowers dotted the forest floor, their colors bursting against the earthy browns and greens. A sparkling river, its waters clear as crystal, wound through the trees, reflecting the sky like a polished mirror. This was a place of harmony, where every animal played a role in the delicate balance of nature. Among them were two creatures whose differences defined them: a tortoise, steady and resolute, and a hare, swift and brash. The tortoise was a picture of calm endurance. His shell, a sturdy dome patterned with mossy greens and rich browns, gleamed faintly under the sun's rays, a testament to his grounded existence. Each step he took was deliberate, his small, bead-like eyes observing the world with quiet wisdom.
The forest animals knew him as a listener, a solver of disputes, and a source of steady counsel.
When a sparrow fretted over a storm-torn nest
Or a badger grumbled about a misplaced burrow,
the tortoise was there, offering patience and perspective. He never hurried, never wavered, and his favorite saying, "Slow and steady wins the race," puzzled the young but comforted the old existing ones. His presence was a quiet anchor in the bustling forest. The hare, by contrast, was a whirlwind of restless energy. His sleek silver-gray fur shimmered as he darted through the woods, his powerful legs carrying him over logs and streams with effortless grace. He was the fastest creature in the forest, and he made sure everyone knew it. His sharp, mischievous eyes gleamed with confidence, and his voice carried a boastful edge. "Catch me if you can," he'd shout, vanishing in a blur before anyone could respond. The other animals admired his speed, but grew weary of his arrogance. He rarely paused to help others, dismissing their troubles as too slow. For his time, to him, life was a race, and he was always the victor. The forest, though peaceful, was not without its tensions. The tortoise and the hare had known each other since they were young, their differences a constant source of friction. The tortoise found the hare's endless bragging tiresome, while the hare saw the tortoise's plodding pace as a waste of potential. Their rivalry simmered quietly, unnoticed by most, until it erupted one bright spring morning during the annual Forest Festival. The Forest Festival was the highlight of the year, a day of celebration where animals gathered to share food, music, and games. The central clearing was transformed, adorned with vines, wildflowers, and lanterns woven from grass. Squirrels juggled acorns in dazzling displays. Foxes leaped over streams in daring contests, and birds filled the air with songs that echoed through the trees. At the heart of the festivities stood a wooden stage, where the wise old owl, the forest's elder, presided. His silver-streaked feathers and deep voice commanded respect as he announced the day's events. "Friends," the owl said, spreading his wings, "today we celebrate our unity and our gifts. We'll have the great berry hunt, the songbird choir, and, of course, the forest race." The mention of the race sent a thrill through the crowd. The forest race was a cherished tradition, a challenging course that wound through the woods, testing speed, endurance, and wit. The path stretched from the great oak to the crystal stream, around the twisting willow grove, and back to the oak. Any animal could compete, but for the past 3 years, the hare had claimed victory, his speed unmatched. His triumphs were legendary, and he reveled in the glory. As the owl explained the rules, the hare bounded onto the stage, his ears twitching with excitement. "I'll win again this year," he declared, his voice ringing out. "No one in this forest can touch me! I'm the fastest, and I always will be!" The animals murmured, some cheering, others exchanging weary glances. The tortoise, standing quietly at the edge of the crowd, his shell blending with the mossy ground, felt a stir of resolve. The hare's boasting grated on him, igniting a spark of determination. He stepped forward, his voice steady but clear. "Speed isn't everything." The crowd fell silent, turning to the tortoise. The hare's ears perked up, and he hopped down from the stage, a smirk spreading across his face. "Oh, "You old slowpoke," he said, his tone dripping with mockery. "What do you know about racing? You'd be eating my dust before you even left the starting line." Laughter rippled through the crowd, but the tortoise's expression remained steady. His eyes met the hare's, calm and unyielding. "I'll race you," he said simply. The forest went still, a tortoise challenging a hare. It was absurd, unthinkable. The hare's smirk widened into a grin. "You race me. That's the best joke I've heard all year." "All right, you're on. But Dante complained when I'm at the finish line, and Yuri's still crawling." The animals buzzed with excitement, their chatter filling the air. The owl, sensing a chance to impart wisdom, raised a wing for silence. "Very well," he said. "The tortoise and the hare will race tomorrow at dawn. The course will be the traditional forest race path. From the great oak to the crystal stream, around the willow grove, and back to the great oak. The winner will be crowned this year's forest champion." The crowd erupted in cheers. A race between the fastest hare and the slowest tortoise was the talk of the festival. Bets were placed mostly on the Haran's strategies, whispered among the trees. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the forest, the tortoise and the hare prepared for the challenge ahead. That evening, the forest hummed with anticipation. Animals gathered in small groups, their voices low as they debated the race. The squirrels, ever energetic, chattered about the hare's unbeatable speed, while the badgers, more pragmatic, wondered if the tortoise's determination might surprise them. Near the edge of the clearing, the tortoise sat beneath a willow tree, nibbling on a clover leaf. His friend, a chipmunk, scurried over, her eyes wide with worry. "Are you sure about this?" the chipmunk asked, her tail twitching. "He's so fast, he's never lost a race." The tortoise chewed slowly, then offered a gentle smile. "It's not just about being fast. It's about staying focused and never giving up. His speed is his strength, but his overconfidence is his weakness." "I have a plan!" The chipmunk tilted her head, curious. "A plan? What kind of plan?" The tortoise's eyes twinkled in the fading light. "You'll see! I just need to keep moving, one step at a time." Meanwhile, the hare lounged on a bed of soft moss, surrounded by young rabbits who hung on his every word. "The tortoise doesn't stand a chance," he boasted, tossing a pebble into the air and catching it with a flourish. "I'll be at the finish line before he's even halfway to the stream. I might even take a nap along the way to make it interesting." The rabbits laughed, their eyes shining with admiration.
But the owl, perched on a nearby branch, overheard the hare's words. He shook his head, his wise eyes narrowing.
"Pride can lead to a fall," he muttered. "This race will teach more than one lesson." As night settled over the forest,
The excitement gave way to quiet.
the tortoise retreated to his burrow, a cozy hollow beneath a tree root, where he rested and pictured the race course in his mind. He knew every twist and turn, every route that might trip a careless runner, every slope that demanded caution. The hare, however, stayed up late, regaling his admirers with tales of his past victories. By the time he curled up to sleep, the moon was high, and his dreams were filled with visions of another triumph. Dawn broke over the forest, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. The animals gathered at the great oak, its massive trunk towering over the clearing. The race course was marked with colorful stones, leading through dense woods, across the crystal stream, around the willow grove, and back to the oak. The path was no easy feat, with uneven terrain, a narrow log bridge, and steep hills that tested even the swiftest runners. Speed alone wouldn't win the day. The owl stood atop a stump, his wings spread wide. "Welcome to the forest race," he announced, his voice carrying over the crowd. "Today, the tortoise and the hare will compete for the title of forest champion. May the best animal win!" The animals cheered as the tortoise and the hare took their places at the starting line.
The hare stretched his legs, bouncing in place, his eyes gleaming with confidence.
The tortoise adjusted his shell, took a deep breath, and focused on the path ahead. The crowd was a mix of supporters, some chanting the hare's name, others whispering words of encouragement to the tortoise. "On your marks," the owl called. "Get set, go!"
With a burst of speed, the hare shot forward, his paws a blur as he raced into the trees. The crowd gasped, marveling at his swiftness.
The tortoise, true to his nature, began his slow, steady march, his eyes fixed on the path. The contrast was stark. The hare, a streak of silver, and the tortoise, a plodding figure barely moving. The hare's speed was breathtaking. He leaped over roots, dodged branches, and sprinted across clearings with ease. Within minutes, he reached the crystal stream, where a narrow log served as a bridge. "This is too easy," he laughed, hopping across with a flourish. He glanced back, expecting to see the tortoise far behind, but the tortoise was nowhere in sight.
Poor slowpoke. The hare chuckled.
"He's probably still at the oak, confident in his lead." The hare spotted a patch of juicy clover near the stream. The temptation was too great. "I've got plenty of time," he said, settling down to nibble. The warm sun and gentle breeze lulled him, and his eyes grew heavy. "Just a quick nap," he mumbled, curling up in the grass. Within moments, he was fast asleep, the race forgotten. The tortoise, meanwhile, pressed on. His small legs moved in a steady rhythm, each step a testament to his resolve. He didn't rush or falter, even when the path grew rocky or steep. When he reached the crystal stream, he carefully navigated the log bridge, his claws gripping the wood with precision. He noticed the clover patch and the faint imprint where the hare had lain, but he saw no sign of his rival. He must be far ahead, the tortoise thought, undeterred. "But I'll keep going." The forest watched in quiet.
Squirrels perched on branches, cheering as the tortoise passed.
Birds flew overhead, their songs urging him on. Even the foxes, usually quick to jest, nodded in respect. The tortoise's determination was a quiet force, a reminder that persistence could rival even the greatest speed. The hare slipped on, the sun climbing higher. A curious butterfly landed on his nose, waking him with a start. "What? How long was I out?" he muttered, rubbing his eyes. He glanced at the sun and realized he'd slept longer than planned. "No matter," he said, leaping to his feet. "The tortoise is too slow to catch up." The hare tore through the forest, his confidence unshaken. He navigated the willow grove, its twisting paths and drooping branches no match for his agility. The finish line was near, just beyond the final hill. He could hear the crowd's cheers, and his heart swelled with pride. "Forest champion, here I come!" he shouted, but as he crested the hill, the hare froze. There, mere steps from the great oak, was the tortoise. His steady pace had brought him within reach of the finish line. The crowd roared, their voices a mix of shock and admiration. The hare's jaw dropped. How is he there?" he stammered. Desperate to reclaim his lead, the hare sprinted with all his might. His legs burned, his breath came in gasps, but he was too far behind. The tortoise took one final step, crossing the finish line just as the hare reached the base of the oak. The crowd erupted, lifting the tortoise onto their shoulders as the owl raised a wing. "The tortoise is the forest champion," the owl declared. "Let this race teach us all. Speed is a gift, but perseverance is a strength." The hare stood panting, his ears drooping. For the first time, he felt the sting of defeat. He approached the tortoise, who was surrounded by cheering animals. "I underestimated you," the hare said quietly. "You won, fair and square?" The tortoise smiled kindly. "It's not about being the fastest. It's about never giving up. Your speed is a gift, use it wisely, and you'll be unstoppable." The hare nodded, a newfound respect in his eyes. From that day on, he stopped boasting and started listening. He used his speed to help others, fetching supplies or delivering messages. The tortoise remained the forest's steady guide, his victory a reminder that slow and steady could indeed win the race. The meaning of the story, the tale of the tortoise and the hare, teaches a timeless lesson about the value of perseverance, humility, and focus. The hare's speed represents natural talent, a gift that can lead to success, but also to overconfidence. His decision to nap during the race symbolizes the dangers of complacency, showing that even the most talented can fail if they take their abilities for granted. The tortoise's steady pace, on the other hand, embodies determination and discipline. His victory proves that consistent effort, no matter how small, can overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. This story reminds us that success is not solely about being the fastest, smartest, or strongest. It's about staying committed to the goal, moving forward despite obstacles, and maintaining humility in the face of competition. In life, we all have our strengths, but it's how we use them and how we persist through setbacks that defines our victories.